Alright guys, it is Sunday morning. It is 9 a.m. and I'm gonna get working on this. I popped the microwave off real quick. Sorry I didn't record it. It's just literally a couple screws. But I'll show you what I want to fix on this. See, when the microwave was on this, there's a stud here. So this one's sturdy, and then there's one here. But there's not one here. So even with a screw in the drywall, like, there's some play. And when I put the microwave on it, you see that? How it bends down. So I want to get some sort of makeshift, stud. It's not going to be a stud because it's not going to go top to bottom, but something that's going to go and evenly distribute the weight and be able to screw in and hold this thing, very snug. So I'm also going to take care of this mess. I'm going to get the drywall done. I'm going to cut it out. So pop this back off and then cut, hopefully, a piece that'll just like fit, if I can cut that weird shape, but we'll see. Yeah, and that is the plan today. I'm not worried about this because this is all covered up by the microwave. All this area is, so I don't care about that. It's just this little bit that's not. Sink's still good, no leaks. Counter is still not quite there yet, but we're getting there. Still soft, but kind of expected, unfortunately, because it's a dark color. I guess they take forever to cure. Here's the mess I have now. Looked really good earlier, but no, it's cool. So you can see, obviously it's not perfect. It's rough right now, but it's just, sitting in there. But really good fit. I'm not a drywall expert at all. I'm actually really bad at it, so I'm pretty proud. It's a decent fit. It's not perfect. There's some gaps. There's the same thickness drywall, but for some reason this stuff sticks out farther. I don't get it. But I'm just gonna kind of sand it down and smooth and just feather it in. That's no big deal. That's the easy part. But I use those paint sticks, as you saw. I used one right here. That way I can screw this into it. And then I've got the studs here I can screw into, but also on the end right here I can screw, so it's tight, right here at the seam. There's not gonna be any wiggling or whatever. But I have no drywall screws, so I gotta run to the store, and the local hardware store is closed because they have the worst hours ever. And I've got wood that I can go outside and cut for that. I'm probably just gonna cut like a chunk out here and fish it in there, and then maybe just screw it into the wall in a couple places so it's down here. But I don't know, we'll figure that out. Figure if there's like a right or a wrong way to do it. Aside from that, I basically just need to, once I get that screwed in, I'm going to sand it down and then, spackle it or whatever you want to call it. And then I need to get the fridge in, all I need to do is just get a coat of paint on that back wall. Because, you're not going to see it, but it's going to bug me knowing that it looks bad if you pull the fridge out. So I'm going to get a coat of paint on there. I got plenty of rollers, plenty of paint trays, and just get that done. That way we can get the fridge back in here, and that's a huge part. Shelby is going to fill the cabinets tonight. She wants to do it so she can, organize it, how she wants, which is perfectly fine with me. I just told her, I was like, just do not set anything on the counters yet, because they are still, I mean, granted, you could probably set a box in here and be all right, but I just don't want to risk it. I don't know. I think we'll end up replacing this sooner than later. Maybe something this winter we'll work on as a project. I guess it's kind of cool now to, you know, we can see, do we even like the black countertop? You know, it might look good, but it might, you know, end up just always being dirty, you know what I mean? Because it's going to show every little speck of whatever's on it. So we might not like it, you know, we might want to go with like a concrete gray type color or anything. I don't know, you know, we'll see. So it'd be a good little learning experiment, I guess. I would also love, once I get the fridge done, to get this area done at the same time. Knock two birds out with one stone. And I believe I'm going to start on the backsplash today. I at least want to get this wall done. I think that would be cool to at least get one wall done. That way I'm not like overwhelming myself trying to do everything all in one day and getting frustrated and stuff. And I believe the right way to do it, because I was like, oh, cool, you know, I'll start sticking them on here and just, you know, get to where I need to go, and then, you know, I can stop or whatever. But I think the right way to do it is to start at the seams, you know, so like I would start there, work my way out to here. But I also need to get some of these bigger screws too, like these ones right here. So gonna head to Lowe's or Walmart, not really sure yet. Walmart's probably, yeah, I'm gonna go to Lowe's because Walmart's probably gonna be a madhouse. So I will be back. I almost messed up. I went right to the kitchen, almost set the stuff on the counter. So luckily Lowe's was a bust. They were super busy and their prices are just outrageous. But I was gonna buy a drywall mutter, which is like almost like a scraper type deal. You know, it's got a handle, it's got like a flat blade. A 14-inch one was like 12 or 13 bucks, and I'm like, God, that's just so expensive for a thin piece of metal. The drywall screws, they're still out of everything. Every normal size pack of drywall screws sold out. I found one pack. They would have worked, but they were kind of shorter than I wanted. But I was gonna get them, but they were like $8 for the pack. And then I'm like, you know what? I looked at the drywall saw, which I needed. $13. I'm like, dude, that's like $4 or $5 at Walmart. So I'm like, I threw all the stuff back on the shelf, went to Walmart, ended up finding this, which is a 24-inch, basically scraper. Only thing I wish the metal part was longer because that's thinner, and I wish there was like a handle on it, but no big deal. This will work perfectly fine. I've got a couple lag screws for the microwave. I got another paintbrush so I can touch up those corners, because I was like, I got the rollers for the walls, but come to think of it, I don't have a brush, you know, to get in those corners. If you guys need light bulbs, highly recommend these. Walmart, the LED bulbs, the Great Value brand, these are always on sale. There are 4 of these in the pack, I think. Oh, wow, it says it right there. Yeah, there's 4 of these in the pack, and these are like $3 a pack. These, so you've got these ones, and then you got a case that looks like this, but it's like almost like an orangish color. These are the cool white, which is like a really like blue. It's not blue, but it's like that crisp white. The orange ones are like the soft white, which is like your regular incandescent bulbs, which are like that brownish yellow white, which I don't like. It's but these use like literally no power. They're the equivalent of a 60-watt brightness bulb. And they use, says more than 80% less energy. I don't know. Normally it says like the amount they use on there. I don't know. But it's like the brightness of a 60-watt bulb, but it's only a couple watts, which is awesome. And then I got some 75-watt ones, which you can use outside. They go up to 100. They got a 25, 40, 60, 75, and 100. These were like $1.88 for the 4-pack. Like, you cannot beat those. Like, even when I don't need them, I'm gonna grab a box. I got some paint trays, and then got the drywall saw. This is just nice. Unfortunately, I'm not really gonna use it too much because I already did all that. But what I was doing with the utility knife, like scoring it just over and over, this would just cut right through it. Maybe I'll probably use it up there to get that, you know, stud in behind the microwave. I got some more drill bits because you can never have enough of them for a few bucks. Got the drywall screws. Got a couple different packs. You know, if I don't use them today, I'll use them eventually. I think, yeah, these are the same thing, just longer. And then I completely forgot to grab a piece of wood, which is what I was going to use to, like, brace that lower cabinet bottom for the microwave. I grabbed some brackets and stuff. Maybe I can use those, but I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to get back to work. So let's talk about this stuff. I was personally worried that the hardest part was going to be cutting around, like, oh, my hand's way off, I'm not by the camera. So cutting around, like, this is like a speaker we have in the wall, you know, our outlets. I thought that was going to be the hard part. No. That is by far the easiest. It is literally so simple. Just what I'm doing basically, here, let me find a sheet. Also, buy a lot more than you think you're going to need. So, like, what I'll do is roughly put this where it's supposed to go, and then, like, I'll go with a marker here, because there's, like, a protective sticker on the outside, like, so you can draw right on this. So, you know, I'll go something like this, and, you know, like this, and then I'll actually take a straight edge and, you know, make the line straight, and then cut that. And the way I'm doing it is I'm using one of these, like a, just, you know, razor blade or whatever, and just cut it nice and slowly and strong, and it cuts right through. And then, you know, you come stick it on. The issue is the wall is not, like, perfectly straight, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like, the corner there where I started, I have, let's see, the corner right here where I started, it is perfectly lined up against that wall. The issue is, you can't really tell on camera, but, like, it slightly goes down. So I'm trying to keep it even, but I'm going farther and farther below the bottom of the tile, which is, like, I'm having almost, like, freehand cut it, and it looks terrible at the bottom. Luckily, I'm going to do, like, a line of caulk, so it's going to cover up all those little, you know, scribes and stuff I've made, but if you're not staring at it, you cannot tell, honest to God. And I am super anal, and it's not bad. It's just, it's frustrating to do, though, because I know I'm messing it up, if that makes sense. But overall, like, it's fairly simple. On my walls, because, like, I've got the exposed paint and stuff like that, like, over here. Not exposed paint, but, like, where it peeled, like, the paint layer and, like, the cardboard or whatever off of the drywall. These things are typically okay. Like, if you peel them off, you know, you can stick them back on, they're gonna be all right. The issue is when these are peeling off, it's ripping, you know, half the cardboard stuff off the wall, so there's no more adhesive left on there. So I've wasted, and one entire piece so far I've actually wasted, unfortunately. But so basically, this side's okay because there's enough of a gap, but when I get right here, there's not. So I am unfortunately gonna have to cut the bottom of this a little bit. And what I do is I take it over to the table where I have that sheet of drywall, and I'm just using that as like a cutting board essentially. So don't mind the mess, but I'm just using this. If you have like one of those cutting pads for, like, you know, art projects and stuff, that is the ideal way. But here's what I mean when I say I make the straight lines. I'll just cut it really deep and slow. And the same thing over here. And then you can see it just literally comes right off. And this is actually a dry erase marker, so it wipes right off there too. But so the bottom I'm gonna have to trim a little bit, so I'm just gonna take like, it's hard to mark, so I'm just totally gonna guesstimate here and go with like, oops, go with like maybe not even 1/4 of an inch. You see, just like that though, that's how simple it is to cut. And we'll take it back over here. Do another like rough fit. And see, shoot. I've got plenty of room over here on the right side, but none right here. So I'm gonna have to cut that some more. Cause see, just setting it on the counter, look how far it's off. It's gotta go way farther. And it's not gonna, so easily like another 1/4 inch, so I'm gonna go cut it real quick. Okay, so I cut way more than I thought I needed. I also trimmed this little spot off here that was sticking over this, just in case. I actually am, now that I think of it, I am replacing these outlets before everything's all done. But I was like, in the future, you know, if you ever wanted to replace these, I didn't want it to mess up the peel and stick, so cut those out as well. So now that I know it fits, and I leave the front like protective layer on at first, just because it's a lot easier to, I'll show you here in a second, but you're kind of just like eyeballing it, and you're gonna stick it on and pull it off and stick it on and pull it off. See, and it seems even right here, but then it's too low right here, which is the really annoying part. Nobody in the videos I watched mentioned that. I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong. See, it's still messed up, dang. Come on, oh my God, right there. Okay, another trick I've learned is like, either go top to bottom, bottom to top, left to right, or right to left. Don't like stick it in the corner and then down here, and then just kind of like mash it on, because it will get like bubbles in it. But the reason I leave that protective layer on the outside is because these tiles are kind of rubbery, so it's really rough to try to smooth this towel along it. But like this, it's really simple, so I can just go right across. See, it slides with no effort, just like this. Make sure you get like specifically all the tiles that overhang. And then you can peel that layer off. And a lot of times it wants to break apart. But now, unfortunately, I have to waste like one sheet right here because I want it to go behind the fridge enough, so you'll actually, you know, be able to, it'll look like it's fully done, I guess is the word I'm looking for, the term I'm looking for. But on this edge one, I am just gonna go, of course, this stupid, go right about there. Right here, we'll make a little notch. And scissors work just fine to cut the stuff too. So fortunately, this is behind the fridge, so I don't have to worry about doing like an end strip or anything like that. There we go. Wow, that one was the easiest one so far. And it's crooked at the top, of course. Okay.
Alright, you guys, I got a ton done today. In a sense, like, I got more than I thought I was going to get done today, but I didn't get as much as I wanted to get done today, if that makes sense. It's coming up on 7 o'clock. The drywall patch, like, it's an old house, let me put it like that. Nothing is straight, nothing is even, nothing is level. That's one of the worst parts about working on an old house. Nothing lines up right. And unfortunately with that drywall, like, I don't know what the deal was. It might be a stupid mistake on my part, but I could not get it, like, even. So basically I'm just gonna, like, kind of feather it in with the spackle. I don't think that stuff I have is actually called spackle, but that's what I'm gonna call it. The filler. I've got a pretty decent coat on there now. I'm gonna let that dry overnight, even though it's like a quick dry. It's like a faster dry one, not like a quick dry, but dries faster. And then I'm gonna sand it down a little bit and then do like another, almost like a skim coat to kind of like feather it in so it doesn't just kind of like so abruptly come out or whatever, if that makes sense. So it'll, like, you really won't be able to see it. Plus the microwave's right there. The backsplash is gonna be right there, so you're not really gonna be able to tell, in all honesty. But I don't want to do like a hack job at the same time, you know, so I do want to make it nice. But as you can kind of see right here behind me, there is some backsplash done. So this stuff sucks. I unfortunately ran out too, and it's not because I didn't order enough, it's because when I ordered it, our counter still had that like 4-inch or 5-inch like, you know, lip or whatever. So the backsplash wouldn't have started until like right here, and one sheet was actually enough to go between the counter and the bottom of the cabinets. So now I had to use like 1.5 per. So I have a lot of scraps, but they're too short for me to use, unfortunately. So I've got this wall completely done. I've got this one completely done. It's done under the window. I have to finish this one right here, and I have to basically continue it under this cabinet and then all the way over to here. So one more pack will be more than enough, thankfully. They're not that expensive. I think it's only, I don't remember. I want to say I paid like $45 for 3 packs, so maybe like $15 a pack, and I think 1 pack comes with 10 of them. I got a new outlet in right here. I've got to get another outlet and switch right there and a plate, and then I got those 2 outlets replaced. The only couple downfalls. One of the downfalls is those tiles are so glossy white that they make the outlet and that speaker look like off-white, which kind of sucks, but it's really minor. You know, once you see it for a few minutes, you get completely used to it. But the other thing, back to me saying, like, everything in an old house is uneven and not level. So I was like, cool, you know, there's just, for the most part, I thought there was about this much of a gap between the countertop and the wall. I'm like, cool, so there'll be plenty of a gap where I can, like, drop it right, like, level, if not just a hair farther down than the countertop line. And, you know, it'll look nice, and, you know, I can account for any crookedness or whatever. Well, that's not the case. That was the case over there and like maybe the first 2. And then by the time I got over to here, I had to cut every single one of them to get them to fit. Because you see how short this bottom tile is here. And then over here, you know, it's the full tile. So I did this one over here. I did it much better. There was more of a gap, so I was able to keep it consistent. But then when you get to this main back wall, the entire counter slopes from my level, you know, my little measuring level thing, whatever the hell you want to call it. The countertop is pretty much even. Like, you know, there bubbles off just a hair, but nothing that should accommodate for that much. The counter, the cabinets are even with the tiles. The window is even with the tiles. I don't know what on this is offset, but you can see right in the corner where I started, they're even. And by the time I get over here, there's like 3/4 of an inch gap. See that? Like right there along the bottom, there's no gap. and then I kept the tiles straight, and then big gap, big gap, big gap, big gap. So what I'm gonna do, I was like, man, I can't do a bead of caulk that's, you know, this thick, because what I was planning on doing was just, you know, running a strip of caulk all the way around. But obviously you can't do a bead of caulk that thick. That's just, first off, gonna look horrible. I'm basically gonna mimic what we had here before with the backsplash, like the original backsplash on the countertop, where I had that like 4-inch strip that went all the way around. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do like a 1-inch strip. And I'm going to do it thinner, I think, where it's not like, I think the other one was like 1 inch thick by like 4.5 or 4 inches tall. So I'm going to do a thin one and a short one and just go, you know, from right here at the stove to there, and then from there to there, and then from there to there. So you won't really notice it, but it will also conceal that gap. Which it sucks, but my other choice is to rip all of these off and completely redo it, which I do not want to do at all. Like, I like the look, the seamless look of just going from countertop to backsplash, you know, without having that strip. I feel like if I redo it and I've got them, you know, going down to match this, then when they get like to the window here, they're going to be like, you're going to see that gap in like different length tiles. Like this right here might be like a full length tile, but then this one's like a short, you know, half of a tile. I don't know. And this wall definitely wasn't perfect. The worst spot is like right there. I tried my hardest. Honestly, you guys, these things were friggin' work, man. But overall, you know, if you're not like really looking for, you know, errors and mistakes and anything crooked, you can't really tell. It looks awesome, honestly. Like overall, I am happy. So that concludes tonight. I'm gonna clean up because, you know, got a huge mess. I actually want to get the fridge back in here, so I might move all this crap to get the fridge in here, because that will get us a lot of space back out here. All right, guys.